Assalamualaikum and hi. Today, my name is Rakem Timazlan. My ID is SA1031, and my group member is Farah Shazwani binti Muhammad Noor and Shantini Rajendran. Today, our group will present about what type of material that should be used for the mainframe car, outer part of car, interior component, and type of paint that used on the car. Okay, for the mainframe of the car, we use galvanized steel and aluminium. Why we use steel? Because steel is very hard and strong. It also has very high to weight ratio, and it also malleable. It is capable of being shaped into a form needed to create the chassis and a body panel of automobile. Steel also the price of steel also low relative to many other metal. It also durable and flexible, making it desirable material in car manufacturing because of impact it bend instead of breaking. Steel also natural capability to absorb the impact energy produced in the crash. Galvanized steel. Galvanized steel is steel that covered with a layer of zinc, and the zinc is prevent oxygen and water from reaching of the steel beneath. If you look at the picture, it does this by first forming a zinc oxide layer on the surface when the moisture present and that turn into zinc carbonate. Okay, the surface of metallic zinc react with the oxygen of the air in presence of water to form zinc hydroxide. And then zinc hydroxide react with the carbon dioxide present in air to form zinc hydrocarbonate, the main constituent of the patina that protect it from other attack. This gives the metal a dull, grey patina that insoluble in water and stop any further chemical change. The galvanized steel still going to rust, but very slowly. In fact, slow enough that it's usually not a problem. This is why galvanized steel has been used for the last 2000 years. It prevents rust and corrosion for longer than paint will, often for 50 years. Aluminium. Aluminium is a corrosion-resistant metal that naturally generates a protective coating. The coating form is extremely thin and is generated when aluminum comes into the contact with an oxidizing environment. This protective aluminum layer helps protect the surface of the metal from corrosion. The corrosion resistance of aluminum is due to its tendency to form a compact oxide layer over the surface. The oxide form offers a high resistance to corrosion. That's why we use aluminum and galvanized steel, because the aluminum and galvanized steel both are corrosion resistant. And if you look at the picture, basically galvanized steel is located at the center of the uh, main frame of car, and aluminum is the one that material that used to join together the other part of frame, because aluminum is corrosion resistant. So the part that we join together with the other part of frame used by aluminum. For the outer part of car, we use aluminum. We use aluminum because it's lightweight yet strong. Aluminum component weigh about half of its equivalent steel component. This weight difference translates to much better fuel economy for drivers. In addition, using aluminum doesn't require a compromise in the strength of vehicle component. It provides the same structural integrity as steel, so it weight reducing advantage and increase fuel economy that really shines. Next, it's highly recyclable. One big advantage of using aluminium is uh, it a most recyclable metal in use. In the event of an accident, In fact, around three-fourths of all aluminum produced in the introduction of modern smelting procedure in the late 80s is still in use today. As a result, aluminum has a less negative impact upon the environment resource and ultimately be extremely cost effective for both manufacturer and consumer. And then it offers protection advantage. This is a very important because um, important thing to be part of the outer part of car. Um, Aluminum is it has protective characteristic. In the event of accident, aluminum can absorb a lot more of kinetic energy that would otherwise be transferred to human occupant of vehicles. Injury likelihood are lessened as driver and passenger are both kept safer. It also has larger crash zone that fall more predictably and larger overall size. Aluminum absorbs energy about twice as well as steel, making it quite safe for automotive application. In fact, every aluminum body vehicle ever crashed tested by US federal regulator has 5-star safety rating. Aluminum component can be designed to fall predictably during a crash, allowing the vehicle to absorb much of the crash energy before it gets to the passenger compartment. That's why we use aluminum because aluminum can absorb more energy and make it the time for the impact to passenger will increase. So the passenger will more likely get less impact because aluminum already absorb the energy. That's all from me. And next, I will pass to my group member.
Okay, next, the interior of component car is dashboard. Dashboard is one the important part of a car because it controls many components to keep the driver understand their performance and condition to get better driving comfort. Next. The polymer used for dashboard first is polypropylene because it is high heat resistant, superior to that polyethylene, and low cost, and also excellent characteristics like opacity, mobility, and obscenity. Next, thermoplastic olefin. Uh, the reason why low glass and density, high stiffness and tautness, and recyclability. Next, the polymer used for the dashboard is ABS. Because high impact strength and tautness due the rubber of polybutadiene, high resistance to chemical strike cracking due to acrylonitrile, acid possibility, long lasting, and also give the dashboard a shiny in previous surface and provide resistance low temperature. Next, ABS blend. It can be easily processed and high heat diffusion temperature and can produce many different surface types. After that, the polymer can use is PVC with ABS. It is high price and high flame retardancy. Next, SMA. Excellent heat resistant compared to typical polystyrene, can be reinforced with glass fiber to enhance resistance and with rubber to prevent from becoming too brittle. And lastly, polyethanes. It is high impact strength under low temperature and also high temperature stiffness to prevent heat shock and excellent shock absorption capacity to ensure the safety of rider. Next. Next, steering wheel. The polymer used for styrene is polypropylene. Polypropylene is taut, rigid, and crystalline thermoplastic produced from propane or propylene monomer. It is a linear hydrocarbon resin. The chemical formula of polypropylene is C3H6. Advantage use polypropylene enable to withstand temperature cycle, easily being formed into almost any shape, and also excellent chemical and heat resistant. Next, polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is high performance amorphous and transparent thermoplastic polymer with organic functional group linked together by carbonate group and offer a unique combination of properties. The reason why use polycarbonate is toughness and high impact strength, lightweight, protection from UV radiation, super optical and chemical resistant, and also highly resistant to weathering. Next, styrene anhydride. A sensitive polymer that is built out of styrene and anhydride monomer. It also an alkaline block structure. The advantage used styrene anhydride is has-on thermal properties and also increased impact resistance. Small amount of butadiene is added. And lastly, use the polymer for string wheel is acrylonitrile butadiene string. Created by polymerizing string and acrylonitrile is the presence of polybutadiene. The natural material is an opaque ivory color and readily color with pigment or dye. Next. Physical properties such as high rigidity, good impact resistance even at low temperature, good insulating properties, good weathability, good abrasion and strain resistant, high dimensionally stability, mechanically strong and stable over time, and also high surface brightness and excellent surface aspect. Chemical property of ABS, very good resistant to dilute acid and alkali, moderate resistant to aliphatic hydrocarbon, and also for resistant to aromatic hydrocarbon, halogenate hydrocarbon, and alcohol. The material for the interior of the door cover, firstly is ABS resin. It have a balanced impact, heat, and a strong tensile property to produce door panel with complex contour or a simple flat design. It will through induction molding because fastening boss and retainer and can be built in during the molding process, so the surface appearance of the model part is very good. It also provides the flexibility to produce upholstered panel for the car with a low base price and upholstered panel for its upgraded version. Can be to secondary fabrication technique such as hot stacking and ultrasonic welding. The left picture is example for the door cover use ABS resin. Next is polypropylene. We use the polypropylene because it have the surface finish very good, and the cost and upholstered dot panel is lower than most band material, and low coefficient of linear terminal expansion and specific gravity, and also high chemical resistance. It also good weathability, possibility, and impact or stiffness balance. The example for polypropylene. Lastly is PVC. We use PVC because it have a long durability, also meet a saving of natural resources, can be give many attractive quality of appearance and leather-like softness. It also reduce noise for physical compound such as the sound damping property of PVC down cut noise for the driver and passenger, increasing comfort and reducing stress. And it also have the potential to be recycled in other product at the end of their first use in the bicycle. So that's all for me. I want to pass to Shantini.
Okay, today I'll be explaining about types of paint which is usable for a car. So the paint we choose is sealant. Without a paint, a car will look unattractive. So for me, paint is a very important part when it comes to car. Next slide. What does a sealant contain? Sealant can include in their formulation solvent, wax, water and amino functional silicon fluid held in a suspension by emulsifier. They can take the form of creams and liquid. Second, it also contains ingredient terms like polymer and resins or polymer resins. For example of polymer include polyethylene, polyurethane and polyethyl tetrafluoroethylene. Include amino compound which are engineered bond perfectly with the clear coat of our paint. To be specific, resin is a polymer that melts or is soluble in specific solvent. In some cases, the material used to make a plastic is a resin. Silicon fluid are relatively short-chain inorganic polymer called polydimethyl silicon sand. The properties of silicon fluid range from very thick, thin, volatile liquid that looks and feel like petroleum solvent to very thick and heavy liquids that look like clear honey. Almost all waxes and sealant products have some type of silicon fluid in them to provide shine and durability. So paint sealant provide a good shiny surface. Next. Okay, durability. Durability is the quality of being able to last long without becoming damaged. So a sealant treatment lasts between 2 to 3 months. Cars exposed to various levels of pollution need sealant that will protect them from dirt and grime. In case your vehicle is parked in the open without any overhead protection, then you could benefit from using a sealant paint. Sealant also offer a nice and reflective finish. So the conclusion we can conclude from this durability is where the paint sealant are more durable. Next is protection. Protection for sealant, it will provide our car with protection in virtually all weather condition. The paint sealant protect the paint layer from UV rays, intense heat, moisture, oxidation, contamination, and mechanical erosion. Next, we go to damage. If you use a paint sealant, it will protect the vehicle against minor damage. Next is adhesion. Before we go to adhesion, I would like to explain for the corrosion as well. Sealant have a far greater resistance to heat, UV rays, and even detergent as compared to carnauba-based wax product. This is one type of wax product. So this can conclude that paint sealant are entirely synthetic polymer solution which provide a great lasting protection to the color of our car. Next, I will go to adhesion. Adhesion is the ability of the sealant paint to stick firmly to the surface of the car. It forms a barrier through the physical properties of the sealant itself by adhesion to the substrate. The substrate could move considerably, requiring that the sealant expand and contract significantly without losing adhesion from the surface. Next slide. Weathability is defined as sealant's degree of resistance when exposed to heat, moisture, cold, solar radiation, and etc. The degree of weathability is determined by the base polymer and the nature of the additive in the sealant formulation. Generally, sealants are formulated for maximum resistance to a single element such as moisture. Cohesion. Cohesion for the sealant also prevent water and other liquid fallout from etching our paint. For curing, it refers to how long it takes for a car wax, be it natural or synthetic, or sealant to bond with the clear coat. Most paint sealant work by bonding with finish they are applied to. Once wiped on, they will go through a process of curing where the polymer strands in the sealant cross-link to form a tough and hard shell. Cure time very much depends on the product itself and what the manufacturer recommends. Climate influence it as well. If it's too hot or too cold, the curing time can be longer or shorter. During curing phase, we must not get our car wet. If our car is drained on the before the wax or sealant has cured, the layer may be compromised. Ideally, avoid driving the car for at least 12 hours after waxing it. It is absolute fact that a cross-linking polymer sealant needs some period of time for the solvent, for example, a carrier ingredient, to full flash off and the polymer to fully cross-link and cure. That's usually 12 to 24 hours depending on ambient temperature and humidity. Next slide. Tensile strength. The tensile strength of a material is the maximum amount of tensile stress that can take before failure, for example, breaking. The lower the temperature, the higher the tensile strength. It is needed primarily to avoid cohesive failure under stress and so that not to transfer stress between substrate as it's the case with most adhesive. Next, modulus. It can sometimes predict the extension or compression characteristic of a sealant. In general, low to medium modulus, sealants are able to take significant movement without putting much stress on the sealant or to the substrate material. However, in certain joints where there is a great movement, strong adhesion of a sealant to a specific substrate may not be desirable. In this situation, the adhesive strength is stronger than the cohesive strength of the sealant, and the sealant may tear apart when it expands or contracts. So this requires the sealant paint to be applied so that it does not adhere to all surface. Next slide. So for conclusion, maintaining a coating for wax or paint sealant makes washing faster and easier. A paint sealant will help prevent most airborne dirt and other contaminants from bonding to paint. Thus, they will wash off easier. This will make washing our car faster. The next point is maintaining a coating of wax or paint sealant makes drying faster and easier. A paint sealant will make drying our car faster as the sealant will increase the surface tension, causing water to want to pile up or bead to the surface. Next slide. Optimal resistance. Pollutants and impurities are no match for a paint sealant. In fact, car paint sealant can hold up against bug splinter, bird droppings, and acid rain. In essence, car paint sealants offer thick protection layer which help to prevent damage. It's easier to maintain because washing and drying is a breeze thanks to paint sealant. Car paint sealant contain hydrophobic properties which serve to both collect and absorb standing water. Next, it is more durable, better protection, less corrosion and damage. It is a good adhesion and cohesion, high tensile strength, and low to medium modulus. So the best car paint is sealant. Here can see an article where it shows the sealant is the best car paints. So that's all from our group. I hope you all understand about our car, like which polymers need to be used. Thank you.